हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल इंजीनियर्स एक्स्ट्रा एक्टिविटी, जहां आज हम सीखेंगे एक्सेल के दो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शंस के बारे में, डेटा वैलिडेशन एंड इनडायरेक्ट फंक्शन. सो लेट अस फर्स्ट स्टार्ट विद द डेटा वैलिडेशन. व्हाट इज डेटा वैलिडेशन? हैव यू एवर सीन that Excel automatically stops wrong entries or it creates drop downs? So before we start, let us first see where you can find data validation. You can find data validation under data tab, then going to data tools, where you see here data validation. And here you have settings. Let us start understanding data validation through an example. I have put 3 questions and we will understand it through these 3 questions. This is a table I have written formed here, which I will try to fill using the data validation. So our first example is, I have to fill this department, okay, employees wise, but I want that department type should not be anything besides these. Like department should be either HR, finance, IT, or marketing. Nothing else should be filled while filling the department. Also, I want that they should come in the list form. Whenever I select any cell under the department column, it should come in the list form. List के फॉर्म में मुझे आ जाना चाहिए ये ऑप्शन कि ये HR है, फाइनेंस है, IT मार्केटिंग, तो वो ऑप्शन मेरे पास आना चाहिए लिस्ट के फॉर्म में. So how can we do that? Let's just select this, or before that, I'll copy this data which I have to fill or tell the data validation tool. I have copied that data. Now I click on the department cell. I go to the data validation. Now in data validation, you see under settings, validation criteria. What is my criteria? I want a list, and that list should have these values. And then I click OK. See here, the drop down has come here. I will scroll this down so that same is implemented below as. Now when I click on this drop down, I see I have an option, right? I have options under department, among which I can choose one. So I can choose HR, I can choose finance, anything, but I cannot fill anything besides this. अगर मैंने यहाँ पे कोशिश भी की कि मैं यहाँ कुछ और लिखूं, like if I write teacher, presenter, it will give me error. Why? Because मैंने यहाँ पे data validation apply कर दिया है, जो restrict करता है मुझे कि मुझे इस list से ही कुछ choose करना पड़ेगा. So this is one way of using data validation, where you put a restricted list. Let us understand some more data validations. Second example is of allow only dates between 1st January 2020 and today. Now these are the joining dates. People have to fill this column. But I want that date of joining should start from 1st Jan 2020 and end today. No date before and after are acceptable. So let us put the data validation again. For same, I select the cell, go to data validation. What is my validation criteria? If I scroll down, I see there is one option of date. I select date. My date should be between 1st January 2020 to today. Also, there are other options, like if I want only one particular date, I'll put equal to, greater than, less than, but here I have an option of between. So first date should be 1st January 2025. Sorry, 2020. Or I can just type 1st Jan 2020. What should be my second date? Today. For today's date, we have one formula of today that I've already told in my another video. So this is the range I want for date. और इसके अलावा कोई भी डेट अगर किसी ने लिखी, error should come. What error should come? Date should be, or maybe I'll show you this example, some other example. Maybe I'll show you the input message example here. I want कि जब भी कोई डेट यहाँ पे डाले तो उसको पहले से ही पता हो कि उसे कौन सी डेट यहाँ डालनी है, so that उसको error नहीं. So I tell her, or the input message will be, date should be between 1st Jan 2020 to today. I have written this message so that कोई भी डेट यहाँ डालेगा तो उसको ये message लिख के आएगा. I click on OK. Now I click on the drop down so that this formula is applied to rest of the cells as well. Now when I click on this, see automatically this is coming I'm just clicking on the cell and this message is coming automatically. The date should be between 1st January 2020 to today. So if I try to put some date maybe before 2020, like suppose I put 1st Jan, if not 2020, I put 2001, I get this error because my range should be. So this is how this joining date validation is important. If you want to restrict some date, you can do that. But if I put here today's date using today's function, it will take it, right? Because it was under my range. Let us move to the next example, which is maximum character. I have to fill the employee ID. Okay. People have to fill employee ID, but the maximum character in an employee ID should not be more than 5 letters. So let us see how we can do that. Click on the cell, go to data validation, settings, validation criteria will be the text length. What is the text length? I want maximum 5. So I don't want between, I want it should be equal to, not maximum, but it should be equal to 5 characters. But if someone puts like any like 4 letters or 6 letters, then he should get some error alert, error message that max character 5. And then I click on OK. Now in this case, if you remember, let me go back to it again. I have not given any input message. So when I go and select the cell, let me scroll down to apply it first to rest of the cells. Now, when I go to select one of the cells, I don't get any message like I was getting when I was selecting any cell in the date column. Why? Because I had given that condition that whenever someone comes and select on this cell, he should get this message of limitation. But यहाँ पे I have not given any such message, input message, but I have given one error message that if someone puts wrong input, then it will give error. So suppose someone puts employee ID as EI 1056. How many characters are there here? 6 characters, but I had put the condition of 5. So let us see, will this cell take this value? I press enter and I get this error maximum 5 characters. So therefore, this will have to be corrected. Person will understand, then that is not correct. And once I enter this, this will take it. So this is how useful the data validation is. Now, this was the data validation. Associated to it is the indirect function, which is our next topic. Let us understand what is indirect function. Now, how you can use indirect function is, but before you use, now, so next we'll start with the indirect function. But before we start indirect function, or before we understand indirect function, there is one very important condition of this, which is this one. It is used with name range, else it will give error. So whenever you are going to use indirect function, first use the name range and then go ahead. But what is name range? So that I've already explained in my another video of name manager and create from selection. Now, before I start with the indirect function, I use name range for this particular example, where if you see in one column, I have listed states, another column, I have listed cities. Like for Gujarat has these cities, Maharashtra has these cities, and then Karnataka has these cities. So first, name manager means I have to name these 3 under Gujarat, then name these 3 under Maharashtra, and name these 3 under Karnataka. How do I do that? I go to the formulas, name manager, new. What I want to name Gujarat. Which cells, किन cells को मैं गुजरात के कैटेगरी में डालना चाहती हूँ जो गुजरात के सिटी में आते हैं, सॉरी स्टेट में आते हैं. And I press OK. Then what is the next? Maharashtra. And which cities I want to put under Maharashtra? These 3, Mumbai, Pune, and Nagpur. Press OK. Third name manager is Karnataka. And under Karnataka, I will put the cities Bangalore, Mysore, and Mangalore. So whenever I select these, I get this. I close it. Now, when I select this Surat, Vadodara, and Vapi, what name you see here? You see the name as Gujarat because these cities comes under Gujarat. Then when you select these three, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, what names comes here for all these group of cells? The name comes as Maharashtra. All right. Now let us see how we can use the indirect function. Suppose I press equal and I write indirect and I select just Gujarat, bracket close. What I'll see all the cities which are under the state Gujarat. But I want that when someone comes in this table, they should get a list of state. And once they select any state, list of city should come in front of it. So let us see how we can create a list. List, I've already told a moment before, we create it through the data validation. But under data validation, I have to tell them that that list should have Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. So that we can do by typing, go to the cell, data validation, setting should be list. And what should be our source? It should be either Gujarat or Maharashtra or Karnataka. Okay, let me correct the spelling of Maharashtra. And then I press OK. So when I scroll it down so that it can be applied to remaining also. When I click on this drop down, I'll get three options. So let us suppose I click on Gujarat. Now, when I click on Gujarat, I want that this city column cell should show me options of all the cities which are under Gujarat. So how can I do that? Let me first select different states in different cell. Here I select Maharashtra, here I select Karnataka. Let me click on the, maybe here, indirect function equal to indirect. What do I have to refer to? I have to refer to this cell because this will keep on changing. Bracket close. What do I see here? That this has come in this format. But I want a list. So what I'll do is I'll go to select this cell, go to data validation. Validation criteria is my list. And under list, what is my source? My source is my indirect function. My source is my indirect function. So the function that I had created here, I'll copy that function and I will put that under data validation formula. List. My source is my formula, that is I want to retrieve G57. Then when I scroll down, it will become G58, G59. I press OK and I scroll down. Once I scroll down, my formula will change, right? If I click on this cell and go to data validation, see it has become G58 from G57. Now when I click on this, I see I'm getting all the cities of Gujarat. Now suppose I change my state to Maharashtra. And then when I click on this list, I'll get all the cities of Maharashtra. So that is how useful this function is. Hope you understand this video of mine. And if you have any query, please write it in the comment section. I will try to answer your queries. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a nice day.